Guys, very late recap. As you're watching this video, the probably game number 8 already started, but just, I try to record those every day, so let me walk you through the game. And this game is probably by far the biggest save in this match, the most dramatical game in the match, as Gukesh the Marajo couldn't convert what was probably the winning position for himself. So he started with knight f3. We saw e4 in this match from him, we saw d4, and now knight f3 and g3. So, and it becomes very interesting from the beginning. Castle, castle, rook e1, d takes e4, e4. So Dean took the pawn, and now Gukesh takes the center from the beginning. So I'm not really familiar with this position. Yeah, I mean, black plan might be to play b5 at some point, but in those structures there are usually like those a4, b3 maneuvers for white pieces. Obviously at some point maybe queen c2, knight d2, trying to take on c4. We didn't see it. Bishop g4 was played, knight bd2, and now c5 trying to hit the center, and Gukesh played d5. Pawn on d5 would be there for a very long time. e6, h3 takes, and now takes on d5. You might ask why Dean doesn't take on d5, because after knight c4, now queen attacks the knight on d5, and also this bishop is looking forward to take pawn on b7. So by basically sacrificing this pawn, Gukesh actually set it up a little trap for the world champion. Knight c4, b5, and now knight a3, hitting the pawn once again. Queen b6, bishop f4, rook e8, queen d2. Now the idea might be to play bishop h6, trade the bishops off the board. Well, I don't think it is really the idea. The idea is probably to make sure, so let's say rook e1 trade happens, he will take with the rook. And also maybe to, trade rooks and then play rook d1, supporting this pawn on d5. Rook d8, knight c2, knight f8, and now absolutely brilliant b4. b4 is a great move. You might ask, what's the idea of b4? The idea of b4, so basically we maybe want to try to control d4 square, and after c4, which was played in the game, now white are making sure d4 square is under control. Yeah, there are potentially some knight d5, bishop opens up, the bishop is quite good actually on g7, but it's still not a very big deal. Takes. Now once again, what if takes? After takes there is just takes, and white pick up a piece on d5. So this pawn is poisoned, it can't be really taken. Queen a2. Now queen attacks this basically pins, just a pin, little pin. Rook a1, queen b3, rook a3, queen b1, and here rook a5, queen b3, rook a3 players. So I turned around this moment. I turned the live stream. I was watching on Take channel with Jan Ludwig as one of the commentators, and he was saying there is no way, and of course there is no way Gukesh is going for precision. He's just trying to maybe take time, make sure maybe he has time, because look, once the players get closer to move forward, they get additional time. So he wants to kind of extend the length by playing those repeating moves, and then just he'll continue playing for a win, right? Rook b5, and now queen d3. And I think this is the moment many players were referring to, as here white had this bishop e3 move, basically still controlling d5 pawn from this side, from this side, from this side. But it's not that clear, why, let's say, white are a lot better. And I think Magnus referred to this moment that he couldn't understand, let's say, why Gukesh would think that there is a huge advantage for himself. So that didn't happen in the game, as white played queen f4, sacrificing the knight on c2, but at the same time also attacking this knight on f6. And this is another very interesting moment, as I watched the analysis, and which's computer first line is to play g5, basically hitting the queen with this pawn, and also basically freeing up space for the knight to jump to g6. So after queen g5 h6, now you create space for your king to escape. After queen f4 knight g6, now you attack it, and if rook b8 king h7, and it's already very good for black. You might say, why not play let's say knight g6 here. Knight g6 here would result in rook b8 and white are completely winning. But after g5 h6, then you create space for your king, you create space for your knight, and black are getting some counterplay. But Dean decided to go for queen c2 and prioritizes queen trade on the board. Takes, bishop g7, king g7, and now rook c5. At this moment I was like, alright, I was calculating this line. So first of all, people were referring to bishop g5 just to keep 2 bishops on the board because you have more chances. This knight is still not developed on f8. But I also calculated bishop g7, king g7, rook c5, and white are simply up a pawn. And this is what exactly happened in the game. Rook c4, rook d4, and brilliant, not brilliant, but like brilliant. It is what it is. Knight c6, hitting the rook from c6 and also trying to attack b4 pawn. The idea is simple. Of course, if rook c4, rook c4, you're just trying to repeat moves. But let's say rook goes somewhere else, knight b4. So of course, I'm not sure why, but computer says rook d2 is one of the options, which is, to me, is absolutely insane. Actually, I was also calculating this line because, you know, I'm always trying to take into consideration all the lines that exist. The idea here is simple. You're just trying to go maybe bishop d1, bishop a4, and place your pawn on d7. This is actually the line I was, you know, kind of looking at, but after a5, bishop e2, yeah, it's actually kind of dangerous. So it could be the idea, but it wasn't played on the board, as Gukesh played rook f4. And this is move 37. Okay, move 40, they're getting closer. And by the way, this is the first game which is finished like beyond move 45 or something. And, you know, because usually, you know, I live stream in the morning, and by the end of my live stream, the game is usually finished. Like it was the case for maybe throughout last week. And, you know, today I had to go to work, and I went to the downtown, like it took me 40 minutes, and they were still playing. Like it was, I think they were playing it for 5 hours at that point, which is absolutely insane. Knight e7, b5, king f6, and now king is trying to walk to e5. So why not right away? Because after king e5, rook h4, there is a pawn hanging on h7. So first, king plays h6. The idea of h6 now, king e5 will be threatened. Let's say something random, this, king e5, I'm just showing the line, even though king e5 is not the best, but there is the idea to hold this way, even though I still think there's a lot of danger. That didn't happen. Many people were seeing that, you know, Gukesh might easily convert this one, but it's still very complicated. Plays knight c3, here the idea is that after knight b5, rook c5 is fork. Basically, rook d5 you can't really protect because there is bishop protecting d5 square from f3, so knight e4, king e1, and this is where the king power comes in. Rook d3, bishop d1, and now f4. And now, you know, when people are being taught endgames, let's say I was told this when I was young, active king in the endgame is far more important, is very important. Even if you are down material, active king might save you the game. Look at this king. This king would have been in the center, it would have been a very tough position for black. This king is on e1 on the first rank, while this king is here on f4. I mean, imagine if it would have been on e8. The positions probably would be just lost, but it's on f4. And it performs like a lot of threats, you know, now potentially, you know, maybe let's say f3, this king, e3, king walks and checkmates. So anything might happen. I was like, alright, there is no way Gukesh blunders, and he didn't, but alright, f5, rook b4, king f3, and king walks all the way to g2. This king, you know, in Take, I haven't watched the recap, but I assume this was an MVP of the game, because he just saved this freaking game for Dean Laurent. And this is by far the biggest save in this match. f4, rook e7, rook e3, rook h7, and around this point, alright, probably everyone's understood that it's probably gonna be a draw. Once again, active king is very important. Knight e4, knight e6, king e5, and ends up taking all the pawns, basically trading all the material, and after king b5 e6, players agreed to a draw. This is probably the most exciting game of the match yet. Yeah, we had decisive results, but this is very important, and tomorrow, as you're watching this video, maybe today, because I don't think anybody will watch, there will be game number 8. Dean will have white pieces, and it's still, you know, probably I saw a lot of comments, a lot of Indian fans want Gukesh to win, but at the same time they don't really want Dean to lose the match, because, you know, this is type of match where, you know, whoever loses will just feel very bad for them, and it's just a hard match. It's an exciting match. It's still very interesting to like see who's going to win this one. But yeah, as we get closer, as the nerves are getting, you know, more and more inside, that's gonna be very complicated for both players. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this recap. I'll see you today as you're watching this video, maybe for round number 8 recap. Not sure how it's, you know, how it's gonna go. Hopefully we'll see an exciting game again. See you soon. Bye bye.